Danielle. I never call you Danielle. What
Danny.
was that?
Call me Danny.
I'm like
Danny
Danielle
girl.
Carolan. Remember when you were Danielle Marie?
Oh, always. The
And-
weird ones know.
The real ones know. And Danielle Marie to Danielle Carolan was a huge change.
You always talk about this, and it is so true.
No, I don't even talk about that. What I talk about is when we all made.
I'm nervous.
Okay, do you remember? This would have been like 6 years ago on YouTube, and we all fell victim to the saturation videos.
Oh, of course.
And we were all so miserable and hated it. We did YouTube because we loved it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're like, I actually hate these videos. And like, I'm acting like I'm 13.
Well, it was the thing.
It was the thing to do. And that's how you grew. And so then we all were like, we're not doing it anymore. And Danielle, we all individually, but you were the first one, made a video. And it was like, not like a coming out video, but it was like a...
Wait, I actually don't remember that.
Yes, it was like we all had to do it because you sent it in the group chat for us to watch if we're posting it. And it was like a sit-down video, like sharing my truth. I'm not posting saturation videos anymore.
Oh my gosh. Wow, you have a better memory than I do.
really, you know what I've realized through this podcast? I have a better memory when it's like on camera. In my real life, I mean, this is my real life, but like at home when I'm with like my friends from home and they're telling me stories of things that happened to me as a kid or like things we did, I don't remember anything. But I do remember the YouTube days.
No, like I remember a lot about the YouTube days, but maybe it's because you watched it and I created the video. You remember watching it. I don't know why.
No, because then we all had to make videos. We all were like, hey, we're just going to be true to ourselves.
Oh,
no more saturation videos.
Well, yeah, because it was like DIY. I cannot DIY for the life of me.
And one thing about me is I will never DIY. I'm so lazy. I hire people to like do anything for me.
Oh,
anything.
100%. Why not?
Like I have a task rabbit for everything. You know?
Oh, I love a task rabbit. I'm having drama with task rabbit because my current apartment doesn't allow task rabbits, and I miss those because they're so great. They just
what do they expect you to do?
They want like a contracted person, and a lot of task rabbits typically aren't, just because they could like sue. Like, I hurt myself in the elevator, and maybe they didn't, but it's the building's fault. So I guess they just had drama with that.
You know what is the best thing about my life currently? There's a lot of good things. Granted,
yes. What are you?
My brother-in-law is a contractor, so I spent years like ragging on these unreliable contractors because one thing about a contractor is that they're going to disappoint you.
Yep.
And then I realized I could just hire my brother-in-law for everything. And he does everything. I don't have to be there because it's my family, and he handles it all for me.
And I feel like he'll be nice and like helpful.
And he already is the nicest, best guy ever. Anytime I introduce someone to him, they're like, he's an angel. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Fabulous.
So anyway, it's not to brag, but like I do have a reliable contractor.
Yeah, you do. I don't.
Okay, so I'm bringing Danielle on for a little book episode.
I was so honored when you texted me.
What do you mean? You've been on the show like 17 times.
Yeah, but this is a book episode.
Ooh.
Like, I know Brooke's done the books. I've been
You have a bit of imposter syndrome, I've noticed in our conversations with books.
Wow. Oh, well, yes, with books for sure. I really love to read. It's just like this joke. It's not even a joke. It's true. I will read a few pages before bed and like I fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. And Danielle will be reading, like she read, there was one, I think it was The Perfect Couple.
The Perfect Couple, meant to be. Every book I've ever read except for Housemaid recently, I read so slow.
You know what? That is so true. You did read The Housemaid really fast.
And I read The Perfect Marriage pretty fast and In 5 Years, but that's like a really short book. But yeah, I still read it fast.
You need to stay like 200 and under.
I know. And it's really hard though when it's on Kindle because Kenzie and I are Kindle girls.
Yes.
Guys, I brought my Kindle, by the way. Like I need to be prepared.
You're like a student who's like showing up to class.
I'm nervous.
I meant to bring my Kindle, but I left it at the hotel.
No, you've got a whole backlog in your brain, I feel. Like I don't. So
it's because, have you finished Nashville yet, by the way?
No, I don't want to finish it. That's something that I literally have to pace myself out.
Okay, so I did the same. I mean, I went through that show so quick because I think I watched it in like 2020, but it was the last season that I held on to. And the last episode, I took a month to watch it because I just couldn't. And I was so emotionally unwell. So what season are you? How many more seasons
I'm on end of season. Actually, I just started season 4. I think there's only 6.
If y'all have watched the show Nashville, or if you haven't, like you must. It's the best show ever.
I wish I remember you posting on your stories like watching Nashville, and I just like it didn't click. And I wish someone like shook me and said, "Watch Nashville, you're gonna love it."
I wish someone like sat me down and like buckled me into a chair like when it was on. But I remember knowing about it just because of like the Lennon Stella of it all, Lennon and Macy or whatever.
I figured that out recently.
Cup song.
Her. Yeah.
Remember the Cup song?
Wait, that's her?
Yeah, that was them.
Oh my God. I can see that. That's like the same voice.
Yeah.
But like obviously in the show, they're so much younger, so they look so different. And then someone's like, oh, I love that show because Len and Maisie Stella. And I was like, huh? And now, I mean, she's like a hot chica.
Yeah.
I mean, not that she wasn't hot when she was, but she was like younger.
She was a kid, yeah.
She was like, didn't.
She's always been beautiful.
Always been beautiful. But, she was like a child in the show, is a child in the show. So I was like, well, it's two different people.
She's coming to her own.
That's awesome that like she like, I think she started on Nashville or like that was like a big moment for her and now she's doing this.
I'm pretty sure in the last book episode I recorded with Maddie, we were talking about Nashville because she was going to Nashville the next day and she hadn't watched it. And I said this exact same thing, but like I want to, and sorry for every listener, but I'll move on very soon. You know how I'm going to get a horse?
Yeah.
So I either want to name my horse Deacon or Raina James.
Oh, you did DM me this and I approve.
It's
so
just,
it depends if it's a girl or a boy.
Yeah. And whatever the horse, I have to meet the horse and the horse has to really take on the name. Those are such.
Deacon's like I love Deacon.
Oh my God, I love that, man. And that's weird for you because you watch Outer Banks first.
Yes.
So that's weird. Yeah.
Because you hate him in Outer Banks, Charles Esten, the actor. But in Nashville, you love him.
Yeah. See,
he's so attractive to me.
That is the show that made me realize, like, I could live in Nashville. And I know that you, like, don't feel that way, but you could see me there.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And, like, I could see me there, too. I need to be by, like, some water. That's, like, my one gripe with Nashville. I mean, there's lakes probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of lakes, but you want like an ocean.
I want ocean.
You lived on the water, so I feel like that's just
I grew up very spoiled in that aspect where I was like, oh, I saw the ocean. So that's why living in New York, I'm like, okay, like the rivers, they're connected to the ocean. I feel better about it.
Mm-hmm. You can see something.
I see something. I need to see water. I don't know.
Okay, let's start off with like a beach read then.
My favorite. I read more in the summer. Like it just happens. Like or spring, summer. As soon as the weather gets warmer, Danny is reading. And I think it's because Kenzie and I are very different here. Kenzie does more self-tan. I love a self-tan. But like you don't.
No, I burn Danielle tans is what she's trying to say. Like I'm still like I still have a crazy burn
poor
from
chest burn.
We went to Cabo like last week and 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I'm still peeling.
Ow.
It was crazy.
I literally felt so bad for you. Like, Kenzie's such a trooper. We go on these beautiful tropical vacations. She's there. She's chilling. She's drinking her margarita. She's got towels all up and down her body. And as you should.
Unwell. But Danielle pointed this out recently. Like, every trip we go on, there's some, like, unwell ailment. I guess not, like, Nantucket, but, like,
no, you weren't unwell in Nantucket. You were loving Nantucket.
You've never seen a happier
No, that's why we're gonna go back.
We're going back. No, it's Coachella Valley. It's Indio because of the dust. I get so sick. And then we just go on tropical vacations and I burn. So I'm not like that with my other friends. It's just you guys.
It's just those trips. No. Nantucket. We've done other trips together, obviously. Yeah. But it was like the last trip I'd done with you, I guess, was Stagecoach.
And I had like an IV person coming. It was really bad.
Well, and I felt so bad. It's obviously not your fault, but I was like, oh my God, do I have this effect on Kenzie? Like she's just not well on our trips.
Danielle.
But my point being, I love to tan. I want to like soak up those sun rays in the summer, but I get so bored. So reading obviously like helps that because you don't want to look at your phone screen. You have to do the towel over your head and then you're not getting tan. So that's why I've been loving reading. And so as soon as the weather hits warm or I go on my first winter, like warm weather vacation, start reading. So Cabo really like jump started that for me. Finally finished Meant to Be by Emily Giffin and then started Housemaid.
I love both.
But beach reads. Okay. Like, what do we, like, just, like, some of my faves?
Like, yeah, and, like, what are you pulling for? Like, I feel like, obviously, our Queen Ellen.
Hildebrand. Can we just, like, talk about her for a second?
Yeah, I would love to.
You might have talked about this with Brooke when she was on about, like, us meeting her.
Yeah, but we can talk about it again.
No.
No, well, let's talk about it again. It's fine.
I'm dying to talk about it again. Well, we met Ellen. So, I mean, that's, like...
And not only did we meet Ellen, but Ellen was, like, she followed us. She was DMing Danielle to, like, meet up. And then we recently talked to her because we're going back to Nantucket, which, by the way, we went to Nantucket. This is our new annual girls trip. Like,
we have two annual
girls trips.
Cabo and Nantucket.
Yes, and we chose Nantucket because Ellen Hildebrand is an author who writes majority of her books on the island of Nantucket. She lives there year round, and she's just like the quintessential beach read author.
It's so good. The one thing I'll say about her writing, which I actually like, but I know some people don't, she's so descriptive.
I love that about her.
And I'm the same way. Like, I love when she's like in 28 Summers, I remember specifically, it's one of my favorite beach reads. One of my favorite Ellen Hildebrand books. She was like, I forget main person's name, but she made lemon custard with blueberries on the side and cold spa water with cucumbers as the sun rise down. Like everything she said, that made no sense what I just said.
No, but it's very descriptive.
Point. But it just, you feel like you're in that Nantucket cottage and you just came in from the beach and you can smell the sunscreen. Oh my gosh.
I love her and I love Nantucket, and sometimes I just need to feel like I'm there. I'm reading Ellen right now because I need to feel like I'm on Nantucket, and I promise you at some point in my, like, you guys don't realize, I mean, you probably do because
I'm starting to realize.
No, like the impact that this Nantucket trip made on me. Like, I will have a house. I will summer on Nantucket. Like, 100%. It might not happen now because it's unfortunately the most expensive.
No, we have expensive.
U.S. vacation county. You know, obviously in the U.S.
Yep.
So, like, give me some time, but, like, I will go. If not, I think about it regularly because this is how far I think about it. I'm like, are my kids going to go to, like, well, if they go to public school then and we live in Texas, they're going to go back to school. And so I'm like, so I only have July? Like, they're going to have to be homeschooled then. And, like, I think about this.
How's this going to work?
Yeah, how's this going to work? How are my summers on Nantucket going to work? I'm not kidding.
I know.
I love it. It's the only place that, like, Texas, Nashville, Nantucket, that's all I need.
Honestly, I think that's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah.
Nantucket was just something different. Like, I actually like it better than the Hamptons. If it was easier to get to, I mean, it's pretty easy to get to, especially from New York. It was literally an hour flight. The flight was $100. Like that. I mean, I'm sure yours was not coming from Texas.
Yeah, mine was not $100.
Nope. But like JetBlue from New York to Nantucket was so amazing. But it's like you feel like you're in a movie while you're there.
Yes.
Everyone's happy. Obviously, we're there like peak summer. We went there in August, which I think they say is the best time to go to Nantucket. Maybe July too. But everyone was so happy and wearing gingham and vineyard vines, and I was just eating up every moment of it.
Like, I came back and I started dressing preppy. Like,
something changed.
Something changed in me. It's just the best place, and Ellen's books are so good. Did you get 5-star weekend? They sent that to you, right?
Yeah. I'm like 30% through.
It's so, oh yeah, because it was NetGalley. I was thinking, because Kindle is percentage. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
They sent the Kindle, but yeah, I don't know why. It was just, anyway.
I know. I'm reading the paper book of that one, and it's hard to read at night with paper books.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't, I do it for Ellen and the advanced copy, but I should have asked for my email.
I know. I just realized I should have given them your email.
I didn't even think to ask, and then anyways.
I forgot about that.
But the things we do for Ellen, truly.
No, so good. She has a book that we read early because we're besties with Ellen. No, but it actually is really good.
Yeah.
You can pre-order it. It comes out in June, 5-star weekend. That's my favorite Ellen book. That's why I bring that up.
Wait, you would say 5-star weekend's your favorite
out of any of them? It's one of my favorite books ever. Like, Danielle, it was so good. And it follows this. Okay, this is the storyline.
Yeah, so basically we got an advanced copy and we're obsessed.
It's amazing. And it follows this woman who just lost her husband. And this is no spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at summarizing things, so like give me a second. And she's like a food blogger, but it's not cheesy and it's not annoying the way that they write about that, which is hard to do. So
you're right. It's not like cheesy influencer.
Yeah, it's
like it's more of like a blog. It sounds like a blog.
Yes, and she's just like, I don't know, she's kind of like an icon, So she ends up inviting. There's this 5-star weekend she sees someone do, and this woman invites 4 other women, her best friends of different time periods of her life, to spend one weekend together at her house on Nantucket. And it's supposed to be like this healing thing. And there's all of these different storylines. That's a lot of Ellen's book. There's like books, there's a lot of different storylines. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's a lot, sometimes you don't care. And just books in general, you don't care about all of them. I was equally interested in everyone's story. And I loved it. I loved that book. So it's a really good, I don't know when this episode will go up. It's probably, you can pre-order it. It's very good. But I love Ellen. What else? 28 Summers and then...
No, but just really quick on the 5-star weekend, like I'm only a little bit ways through, but again, she's doing the description. So like Kenzie said, she's hosting people, and I love hearing, she's like, she doubles up the duvet comforters and fluffs and goes to the market and gets fresh florals for each nightstand of her guests. Like, I love that shit.
And that's also so me. You know what she needs to do?
It's so breadwinning housewife.
It's so breadwinning housewife. You know how in the Hotel Nantucket, she at the end did like a Nantucket guide. She should have, maybe she did and I don't know this, put all the recipes in all the like hosting things she did at the end of 5-Star Weekend.
She should.
Maybe she did, and I just didn't see it in the Kindle version.
Maybe.
But that would be very helpful, and I would like the recipes, and I would like the like hosting.
She
aspect.
did, and the part I'm at right now, like right before her friends came, she wrote out the itinerary, and a lot of it was like they arrived, blah blah. But there were a couple restaurants in there, and I'm sure they're real. I'm pretty sure all of them are real. Everything she says is real. So I almost like took a photo of it for our Nantucket trips, just so we like know more restaurants, because the restaurants we went to last time were fine, but like I want to try new ones this year.
Yeah, me too. I'm not dying to go back to
any of those.
Yeah. And I feel like once you do crew, like you've done crew, and you can go do other things.
Crew is a vibe, but I also just like go to restaurants for vibes because I like hate seafood and food. Like in Nantucket, there's not.
The craziest thing is that Danielle doesn't like seafood, and we go to Cabo and Nantucket. So like,
and everyone's getting sushi and fish, and the good thing is Katie doesn't either.
Yeah, she
does oysters though, so she can like partake in Nantucket.
She does an oyster, an aphrodisiac.
Yeah. Oh, she loves an aphrodisiac oyster. Oh my gosh. But yeah, love 28 Summers. Hotel Nantucket was amazing, and so we stayed at the hotel. We stayed at the Nantucket Hotel, which was based off of that. And I remember while we were there, we did notice some things that were like similar.
Yeah.
I really liked that one. And then Perfect Couple, which is being turned into a movie.
Yes.
Which is so exciting.
With Nicole Kidman.
Yep.
And other people that I forget.
And other people that I can't remember. I'm looking at the guy, but I can't remember. Charlie?
It's a big casting.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's just so exciting. And it's like, I feel like she's about to pop off. Like, I like so much fun in her stories, and she responds, and like she literally gave us like because we wanted to try a new hotel this year, and she was giving suggestions.
She's the nicest woman ever. Like she really is.
It's so kind, because I like get frustrated sometimes when people ask me. I'm like, I have a highlight, you know, like, but she's still giving him to us, and I think that's really cool. But like she posted a picture of the movie clapper, whatever, and I'm like, she's about to like be big.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, she is so big, but in the like TV,
she is big in the book, but like if more of her things start turning into movies, that would be so cool.
Have her like Colleen Hoover like moment of you know,
exactly. Do you ever go on is it fancast.com? Like sometimes if I'm reading a book and I need someone to picture, I think it's Fancast, or you can just look up like cast your book, and people have created like ideas of who should play what character. I'm so shocked you haven't done this.
You know what's weird about me? Like sometimes when I read a book, when I read a book, I've noticed I have about like 5 or 6 houses that books always take place in.
Oh, really?
And they're not houses that would like really make that much sense. Like one of them is a house of a friend of mine from like kindergarten.
Oh, like Real Houses.
Yeah, Real Houses of my life. It's less people that I care. It's like the setting. Right. So like there's a house that I haven't been to, and probably how old are you in kindergarten? I'm 25 now. There's a house, the house that we lived in Tyler, Texas. I moved 17 times as a kid, so like one of the other
actually
like rentals, 17 houses. Crazy.
I thought you were like 17.
No, like actually 17. I lived in 17 houses before I was 17. But that's because my parents were divorced, so it was like double.
Right,
but still, and we moved a ton for my dad's job. But there's like certain houses that are so random in my life, and that's where the settings take place. Like if this person knew that I pictured all these books in their house, they would be like, "What the fuck?" Like they probably don't even remember me. You know?
It's like, oh hey Sally, I've actually been visualizing your house for years. That's so interesting, because I like create these houses in my head.
No, they're all real houses, but for casting, for like what people look like,
you don't do that.
They don't always have like faces in my head, like.
No, not necessarily faces. That's a good point.
You know?
But like the hair
color,
figure, the outfits. Oh my God. I think I might have sent it in our Cabo group chat, but there was this TikTok saying, like, why do authors always give like terrible outfits? And a lot of times I'm like, what? Like, it's always, she donned a purple and polka dot blouse with flared jeans and some wedges.
And ruffles.
Yeah, and she was out the door. And I'm like, why are we leaving like that? You know? Like, you're like, I don't know. But sometimes it's like nice. She put on a sleek silk black dress with black kitten heels. I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. A classic look.
I like rewrite their outfits in my head, because I'll read
You're
that.
Like, nope.
No, I'll read that and like not even register that it's really ugly. And in my head, they're in a different outfit. Like I think I just like the author's words sometimes are just like suggestions to me, and I decide what they look like
and where they live.
Yeah, and where they live and what they do. It's like I'm reading the book, but like really I'm writing the book.
That's so interesting. I'm still stuck on what what you said about faces because I think I do the same.
I know. I feel like that's weird. I feel like most people have because you're really into casting always though. You're like this person.
Yeah.
So that surprises me with you.
Yeah. But then once I have like someone in my head, I'm like, oh, I can still kind of see it. And then I'm picturing the face, I suppose. But it's just so fun to see, like, because I like to think in my head who I would cast, and then it's really interesting to see. It's so funny, though. Every single book, Blake Lively's the lead, which is really funny. Every single book that I've looked up, it's like Blake Lively's the lead.
Oh, I thought you meant in your head.
No, sorry. Like, when I look, not every single, but probably 3 out of the 4. I haven't looked them all up, all of my books, but it's usually Blake Lively. I'm like, wow. A lot of people are picturing her.
It's like an easy casting. I wonder if that's because the people who are reading these books now grew up on Gossip Girl.
Yeah, like I think it's our generation. You're right, and they're thinking about certain people, but I don't know. It's definitely really fun to do, and it's just so fun to just obviously get entrapped in another world. I'm trying to think if there's other Ellen Hildebrand. I was telling Kenzie before we started, I got the Kindle Oasis inspired by Kenzie. Do you have a pop socket on the back of yours, by the way?
No, I
need to do that.
I feel like I need to.
I don't know if you have small hands or what, but my hands are small. So it's nice when you're like laying and you just pop your pop socket. But I got a new one.
I need to do bread pudding house so I have pop sockets.
You should. I'll purchase and put on my Kindle. But a lot of my books are on my last Kindle, and I used to be on like my family's Amazon for a while, and I think those books are on that because then I made my own Prime account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I think the only Ellen books I've read: Perfect Couple, Hotel Nantucket, 28 Summers. There has to be another that
There's others, but I can't remember. But that's fine. That's enough.
Called Golden
Girl.
Oh. Yeah.
That's a really popular one of hers. I forget.
Why did I bring my Kindle to look at it? I read Winter in Paradise, which have you read it?
Yeah, Brooke and I, is that the series that I think Brooke and I both
3
read
books,
it?
And I finished it, and I forgot it was a series, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I could if I'm ready to do another right now.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good. I mean, all of her books are just so good.
She's just such a good writer.
She's such a good beach read. I also obviously loved Every Summer After. I read that last summer.
Okay, I actually made a list of beach reads now that I think about it. Every Summer After, absolutely. I put 5-star Weekend, actually beach read. Have you read Beach Read by Emily Henry?
No, but is it good?
I think you would like it. So I don't like the recent books that have come out, but Beach Read was like one of my favorite books. Like I loved that book, and most people love it. Like I know some people hate it, but like most people that like we know loved Beach Read. And then also to throw in a memoir, Open Book by Jessica Simpson. That's a good one for a beach read.
Rumblings about Miss Jessica Simpson's book.
Oh, Miss Jessica Simpson. That book it took 2020, I think, by storm.
And you would say it's a beach read for you?
Yes, because she does not leave anything for. She tells you.
It's about her life.
Yeah, she literally tells you that like her and Nick Lachey like hooked up after they divorced. I mean, like she tells you everything.
Oh, that's tea.
It's like really good.
Bring you in on the gossip.
Wait, what do you think? Did you read It Ends With Us?
Yes.
What do you think about the casting?
So obviously I feel like I agree with a lot of other people. Like obviously love Blake Lively, but she's like a college kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, she can look young, she can do it, but I just think there's so many other actresses. I know people were talking about the girl in All Too Well. I'm forgetting her name. The redhead in All Too Well.
I forget.
She would have been really great for Lily. The guys I was really confused on, honestly. I just like imagined something completely different.
That is not your guy.
No, that's not my guy. What do you think?
No, I'm not super into it. Here's the thing, like I am kind of like loyal to everything to a fault. So like if I actually didn't hate It Starts With Us like everyone else in the world did.
Oh, the book. I didn't read It Starts With Us.
But it's like, and I was so excited about it, but the issue with It Starts With Us, side note, is that they were in a healthy relationship. What is there to write about? There's not really conflict. You have to really pull for conflict, and like people don't like reading about healthy relationships. Like that's
just kind of
because it's like that was the answer. That was like the solution that you come to in the book. But as far as casting for It Ends With Us goes, I think they should have gone younger. I think they should have focused on Gen Z because it is a book that Gen Z loves, and it should have been. I think the girl from All Too Well would have been great. It should have been actresses that like
Sadie Sink.
Sadie Sink. Her name. That this movie would have like made their career, and it would have been more of like a staple. Like you think about like Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson with Twilight, because neither one of them was like they weren't at their peak or really even in their prime yet. Like that was when they like blew up. Right. That is what they should have done, and I just it's too old. Like she's young. Like not that she's old, but like. you know what I mean? Like, it should have been younger. It should have been more Gen Z. And I love Blake Lively. Like, really.
Love her. Like, I'm so excited for her. That's the other thing. I'm still going to watch it. Like, I know when people are like, I'm not watching because blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on. You read the book. It's so exciting. I can't wait to be like, oh, it was better than the book or it wasn't better. Like, I can't wait to be that person because I don't get to do that all the time. Like, oh, wait, you weren't with us, but we went to go see Where the Crawdads Sing, the movie. Yeah. Sobbing, crying, but I also hadn't read the book because I just couldn't get through it. But I was so jealous because everyone was talking about it versus the book, and I was like, I want to be that girl. So I'm so excited to do that for Ends With Us.
To feel included. Maybe they got their casting from that website that you were talking about. That cast Blake Lively. Maybe the casting directors were like, fuck it, we're just gonna go here.
Like, this is what the people, because it's voted. People vote, so I bet that's what it is. You know what? Really random. It's not, I wouldn't call this a beach read. This is like a fall read, like back to school season, like fall. You suggested this book years ago, like during like 2020-ish. I read it. It was probably one of my favorite books ever, behind Last Mrs. Parrish, Before We Were Strangers.
That's a romance, so it's still a good, I guess, beach read. It's not good, like, but super
it's more
light.
Set in the like,
it's like in Murray Hill. Like, it's so, I love, that's the book that got me into romance books. Like, I always recommend it because I didn't realize that I liked romance before. I guess I thought I was just like heartless or something. But you know, it's so good.
It's one thing I say it's one of my, I don't remember it, but I remember loving it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember anything.
By the way,
I was in New York.
Characters out the wall. Like, most of the books that I read, I don't remember.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Like, I cannot remember everything. I don't. And I could not tell you what happened in Golden Girl by Ellen Hill. I have no idea.
Okay.
The Perfect Couple by Ellen is hard for me to remember, and I only remember it now because I asked you guys, like, last week. So certain books I do remember. Before We Were Strangers, I do remember really well because it was one of the first books. It was the first romance book that I loved.
Right.
So I do remember that, and I loved that book.
I need to like read it again because that's just such a good book. Like,
it's so good.
I feel like that's one that could get you back into reading, maybe.
It, like, for those listening, definitely. I think it could get you back into reading. It follows this girl and they meet at NYU. I think this girl and this guy, they meet at NYU, or I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so I'm getting that confused with Ends With Us. Yes, NYU
is Before We Were Strangers.
Ends With Us is in Massachusetts, right? In Boston, I think
so. Yeah, it's in Boston. And this
is NYU, yes.
They like fall in love and they like split up, and then they end up running into each other from like what are those Craigslist, like, I Missed You, those Craigslist ads? Dumois has one too. Miss Mois. It's like a misconnection. And they have like a misconnection. They end up reuniting, and there's a huge twist, and then it's like this beautiful story, and
I need to reread
it. It's really good. I loved that one.
And the description like doesn't even like do it justice. Like, I remember in the back of the book being like, oh, like they reunite, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
No, it's fire flames, and they like I think they like go back into time of like how they met, and you're like, whoa. And I feel like she was a violinist or something. She played an instrument, maybe.
See, between the two of us, we got it. We got you.
I feel better now. Yeah. I feel like I belong on this couch right now. I feel like I can hold my own a little bit, and that it's okay to not remember everything about a book. That's just
I don't remember most things.
So I'm like, I remember I loved it, but I don't remember exactly what happened.
You know the quote that's like, people don't remember what you say or whatever, but they remember how they made you feel.
Yeah.
That's me with books.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I'm going to work on that too.
What was the like book that got you into reading?
It was either Before We Were Strangers or It Ends With Us, which is so basic.
No, I'm saying I loved It Ends With Us.
But like, honestly, I think we probably read it around, like, I read it like in 2019, maybe 2020. Yeah. And then obviously a lot of people read it then, but then I remember seeing a resurgence of it like last year, and I was like, oh, I read that 2 years ago.
And I'm glad that I read it then. Yeah, because I'm glad that I read it then because I feel like a lot of people were like, oh, it was so overhyped. But it's like, I didn't go into it with that mindset. And I feel like when you go into anything with that mindset, it ruins it for you.
Totally. I have a habit of like telling people, you must. And then they're like, okay, Danielle, like, whatever. I think you're so right because so many people are like, why was that so good? Because it was on Book Talk or whatever, and everyone was talking about it. But we read it when like a couple people had posted. Like, it was probably you because that's who I got. You or Brooke or who I got my Rex from, and one of you probably posted and said this was good. Yeah. Like, you probably weren't even like, this was the best book I've ever read, but you were like, this was a really good book. I think you would enjoy it.
I probably was like, this is the best book I've ever read, honestly. Okay, because I read it in like a night.
Oh,
so
that would definitely influence me too.
There was also a phase, this was like year that I was like going through a breakup, and it was like back and forth, and there was like 1 week, like it was also peak pandemic, so I couldn't leave my house, where I read 5 books in 5 days.
Nothing to.
Because I was trying so hard to like get out of my head. Yeah. So I was reading all the books. And it was
That's
great.
when I
That
got
was one of
into
them.
reading.
Yeah.
I just like didn't want to like do anything else but sit on my couch and light a candle and read.
Yeah. It's just so fabulous.
It's so, because you're in another world, because everything was so crazy then. It was so nice to just take yourself out
Yeah.
and just be in the book.
And now I like can't get out of it. You know, the books that got me into reading, like I'm thinking like as a child. And it makes a lot of sense because I do feel
Oh,
like
as a
my
child.
personality is like a mix between these two. It was Junie B. Jones and Nancy Drew.
Oh, this makes sense for you.
And this makes a lot of sense. I feel like there's something about Junie that I really connect to.
Yeah.
Like
coming of age. All the
yeah,
things.
and she's like slightly annoying, really loud, like, you know, outgoing. And then Nancy Drew was like a little bit like, she was like a calm, like a little bit more chill
Yes.
and nosy. You
Oh,
know?
I'm nosy. I feel that.
So I feel like it really had a huge impact.
And
Like
I
I
love
used to
that.
go, so my mom's an interior designer, so we used to have to go to like antique stores all the time. And they always sell all the antique books as a kid, they're always Nancy Drew. So
Oh.
I would always get a new Nancy Drew book, and I
Yeah.
had the entire collection, and my parents got rid of it, and I literally hate them. I think they got rid of it. I don't know.
How
I've never seen
dare.
it, so
You're like, I
I'm
don't
pretty
know
sure
what
they
it
got
is.
rid of it.
Did you ever read the Magic Treehouse book?
Of course, yes.
That was like a competition in my school. Like, oh, I just checked out the next one. Like,
Yeah.
you like finally get through them all. I read way more as a child, I feel like, than even now.
Yeah,
Were you
I read a
big-
lot. I was
so fun.
actually like shy when I was really young. I know it's really hard to believe.
That's really hard to believe.
I was so shy they gave me another year of preschool. My birthday was like on the line, so like I could have picked.
So you could like gain more confidence.
So
or
yeah, so I
something?
could like say something. I had no interest in talking to anyone but the adults. It was like
Oh
these
my
kids are
God.
really annoying me. And then all of a sudden, no, I'm kidding. I don't actually think that was my attitude. I think
No,
I
I
was
feel
just
like-
scared.
I was gonna say, I feel like if like I brought you to my, you know, like you always have that one friend when you bring them to your parents' house that's like with the parents or with the mom.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that'd be
That's
you.
so true. Like
I feel like you and my mom would be like chatting. I
Yeah.
feel like that's your vibe.
and that's so true because I'm always like, how's Cecil Michelle? How's Adina?
Yeah.
Like,
No, and you're just like so social. I don't know. Like there's like in all my friend groups, like and for my high school friend group, there's like the one that sticks back and like hangs with the parents.
Yeah.
Just for like a little bit. It's not like an annoying way.
yeah,
Like,
no, just
I do
like,
that sometimes too.
connect.
Like I'm like, I love your mom. Can I just like go chat with her? I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah,
always
that
that
is
one in a
true.
friend group. who,
That is
like,
true. I
chats
do always
with
love the
her.
parents.
Yeah, not that we're like going to parents' houses anymore, really, but
I know. I honestly miss
back
that. Like,
in the day.
I really miss that aspect of going to a friend's house.
I know, and they like have a little snack out. for
Yeah,
you.
and like knowing their families. You know, like
I know, like we don't know. Like I have met your mom. I don't know if I've met your dad.
Yeah,
And
I
I've met your
think you
sister.
have.
I've actually met a good amount of your
Yeah.
family, so I'm lucky. But a lot of our friends, like I really don't know their families at all, and it's so weird because growing up, you're like
yeah,
you're going to each other's houses and play dates and
and like everything.
yeah, you know everything.
Or even like talking to hometown friends for advice, like with your parent, like they like know they're like, okay, well, don't do that. You know, like
Exactly.
they like understand that aspect.
It's so nice.
Okay, let's do best thrillers.
Ooh, so we need to talk about
Housemaid.
Housemaids. I would say to answer that question before we get into it, the best thrillers I've read would Housemaid's a thriller, right?
Yes, yeah.
Housemaid, Perfect Marriage. I would call that a thriller.
Yeah.
Ish. I don't even know what to define anything anymore. And The Last Mrs. Parrish. Is that a thriller?
Yeah. So there's like different kinds of thrillers, but they're all thrillers.
Yeah, they're like I think they're thrillers. They're like keep you on your toes. You're like, what's gonna happen? Those would be my big three.
The big three. I'm gonna go because I feel like I answer this all the time, but I've read so many more. Anything Frida McFadden, which is The Housemaid, and I think her other books are better than The Housemaid. Like,
Wow.
but that's
Did
only
you read the sequel to Housemaid?
yeah, I did, and that's only because we'll get into this in a second. The Housemaid and The Last Mrs. Parrish are literally like the same book, so I guessed it 2% in of what was
Wow,
gonna happen.
really?
Yeah, but only because I recognized the pattern. So it's still an amazing book, but like I wasn't shocked
You're
because it's the same
yeah.
book, you know?
Yeah.
But The Inmate by Frida McFadden is so good. Adina actually read it and said she loved it. Brooke was telling me that. So I like anything. Jennifer Hillier is so good. Have you read Little Secrets?
No.
You would love that book. You need to read that
Little
book.
Secrets.
That's like my always like go-to rec because it's a more unique thriller. I would say anything Frida McFadden right now, and then anything Jennifer Hillier, even The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier, which is weird because it's more of like sounds like gory and like odd.
It does, The Butcher.
And it like you look at the cover and like I'm not reading that, but I was obsessed with her as an author, and I go through phases where if I'm into an author, I read every book they've released, and then I'll move
I
on to
should do
another.
that if you like their way of writing.
Yeah, and it's just good. I didn't make, but Margot read The Butcher, and I was like so terrified because if you like give Margot a bad rec, it's like, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm like really stressed.
oh
I like want to impress her. Yeah.
and
And she loved it. She was like, it's actually really good. And I was like, I didn't think she would like
That's
it.
the best feeling.
But I was like, please don't read it. I didn't tell you to read this.
Yeah,
but it was so
didn't tell
good.
you. No.
No, giving someone a good book rec and it's like their favorite book, it's like, oh my god.
It's like you try not to take it personal. Brooke's really good. She'll be like, I really liked it, but also, like, you might not like she never wants to, like, talk it up too much. Which I do the complete opposite, so I need to be more like that.
That's so Brooke. She's like, but no way. And they do that.
I don't know. It's not your vibe. Like, it's always, like, slow moving. I literally talked about this at our live shows. I would tell Brooke, like, every book she reads, slow moving, kind of hard to get into, but the ending's pretty good. I'm like, why would I read that? Like, it's just because you guys read so much that it's like, whatever. Like, not every book can be the best, but I'm like, I just want to read the really good ones. At least right now, since I take,
we have
like,
to have some fillers.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. You need some filler thrillers.
Thrillers. Okay, we're gonna go into The Housemaid. And there will be spoilers, so skip 2 minutes if you don't want to hear the spoilers, or just be like us and listen to it and forget and read it in 2 months.
No, seriously, I was telling Kenzie, like, sometimes you hear it, but then you might not read it for a few months and you'll literally forget it all.
Yeah, and I already said it's the same book as Lost and Despair, so if you... So you did... When you read The Housemaid, you were, like, shocked at the 50% mark? Okay.
I knew... Yeah, at the 50... Yeah, except part 2. I knew that it was similar to Last Mrs. Parrish, but I assumed it wasn't, like, literally the exact same thing where it is, like, the woman that's trying to get out. I thought it was so well done. I thought it was amazing. I was so frustrated with Nina when she kept to... I'm, like, fresh off this book, so I, like, remember all the character names. Millie, who is the housemaid, if you will, like, she would just blow up at everything. I mean, I know because she wanted her to be annoyed with her and hook up with her husband, but it was so annoying. Like, before you know the twist, you're like, stop.
Oh, I hated her at first.
Like, Millie, I told you she's allergic to peanut butter. No, the fuck you didn't. Like, that would, oh my God, I got so mad at Nina.
But she was so horrible that it made me think, like, there has to be a reason that she's like this. So at the very beginning, I think it was, like, actually 7% when I realized that. At the very beginning, I was like, he must be abusive, and she just doesn't know how to act. And I was like, whatever. And then as time went on, she brought her into the house with no background check. And then I was like, there's no way this rich woman didn't background check, so she's going to use that and hold that over her head. Because of that, then I was like, it's going to switch, and she knows what she's doing. And then when they would talk about her weight and things like that, I was like, that's kind of weird.
Terrible.
So it made me think that, like, it was just, I knew that was going to be, like, something that was brought back to attention later.
Oh,
so that's how...
Talking about her weight. I see.
Like, she was, like, quote, in quotes, letting herself go. And I'm like, well, she wants to not
the highlights and everything of her hair. Dude.
And she's wealthy and, like, could do any of it.
Right.
You know?
And she, like, seems to, like, have all these wealthy friends and, like, want to get all dressed up. But it was because she literally wanted to, like, look different.
Yeah. Well, she wanted him to, like, become unattracted to her.
Right. So she was just, like, literally, it's... I didn't see it coming, and I'm happy I didn't. That kind of sucks that you did. But I'm sure you still really enjoyed the book. No, it was
still really good.
It was just, like... I also, like, there was romance aspect to it, which I just, like, loved. Like, I loved their New York night when they went to a show in the hotel. And at this point, I'm still so charmed by Andrew. To me, there's no problem with Andrew yet. Like, or I think that was his name. Oh, my God. I'm, like, so entranced by him, the way they describe him and everything. Like, they get ya.
When I was reading, I was like, why do I want them to hook up?
No, I wanted
I was like, I want the affair to happen.
Because
you hate the mom.
So I'm like, hook up with him. I hate him or her.
What's the pool guy's name? In something?
Enzo.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
Oh my God. And he's in book 2. Like, he's in the sequel.
Oh, good.
So there's a sequel to the book if you've read The Housemaid, and it's, like, similar. Like, there's other stuff that happens. It's not the exact same thing, but it's similar vibes. Millie and Enzo are in it.
Right.
It tells you what happened in, like, the aftermath a little bit. It kind of just touches on it. And it basically should just, like, pull the 2 characters and, like, they're doing, like, another, like, mission almost.
Okay, cool.
But she gets, like, another job, and it, like, goes into that. And I really like that as well. I think it's The Housemaid's Secrets.
Yeah.
It's just sequel number 2, or sequel, obviously.
I think I'm gonna read that after this Ellen. I just, like, needed an Ellen to split up the 2 thrillers, you know?
But I did really like it. But I went through, I think I read, like, 5 or 6 of her books in, like, a month because I was
Frida McFadden.
yeah, she's so good.
That's
like,
so great.
good.
I should start doing that, reading the authors. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
do that with Ellen, clearly, so why
Yeah.
not other authors that I seem to like?
Okay, but like, do you think that Frida copied Liv Constantine?
So it was the exact. This is still spoilers, by the way. It was the exact same, where it was like the woman bringing someone in so she could get out. I don't know. I hate it's so tough because what if she purposely didn't read The Last Mrs. Parrish and like didn't,
That's true.
you know, like
Not to like stir up some drama,
stirring the pot.
but like, how do you think Liv Constantine? It's a author duo. How do you feel like they? What do you
I
think?
feel
they
like
think?
she's pretty mad right now because I feel like personally I haven't seen anything about this book till this year.
I think it was released this year.
Oh,
or last
okay.
year.
Well, because I think this was released what, like 5 years after Last Mrs. Parrish.
Yeah, this is after. Yeah.
So that's pretty tough. But I also like you never want to assume.
No, and like I'm just trying to like cause drama because
No,
I
know. I just like even like with us being content creators, like it's so tough. Like somebody like, oh, this girl copied you. I'm like, I got this inspiration from someone else. Like,
and we both breathe and walk and we like clothes and we're living in this year and this is what's trending. Like
it's so tough. But no, this was like pretty similar. I'm so glad because I saw people say it's similar to Last Mrs. Parrish, but no one said like it is literally the same thing because I think that would have been tough for me to read.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed The Housemaid though. I think you should definitely read it. I read it in a week, I think. Yeah.
That's really good.
That was really fast.
That's very fast. I do want to we're gonna talk about The Perfect Marriage.
Oh yeah, because you have something to say.
But I'm gonna do that in a second. So we're breaking up the spoilers.
Okay. Oh, smart.
You know, okay, so have you read a book from Colleen Hoover?
Yeah.
Taylor Jenkins Reid?
She did.
Seven Husbands?
Yeah.
And Emily Henry, I don't think you've read her.
No, I didn't read Emily Henry.
Okay, so who would your top like 3 authors be?
This is where my Kindle comes into play. I'm trying to think of people I've read multiple books by. Who wrote in 5 years? Rebecca Searle. And I read Tell Me Lies too this year. I'm like, whatever the books I've read this year. Obviously Ellen Hildebrand. Colleen Hoover, I haven't really read anything of hers this year. I was kind of just, I don't know, I was kind of getting fatigued. But I also haven't read like multiples of any other author. So currently today, because I mean we're just hyping up Frida McFadden, I would say Frida McFadden, Ellen Hildebrand, and I really liked Emily Giffen's writing.
Oh my God.
And Meant to Be.
I would give anything. Guys, if anyone is listening to this and is an author, if you could write more fiction books that are loosely based off the Kennedys, I'm your number 1 customer.
It's really cool.
So, oh my God, I loved it. It made me feel so smart. I was like, I'm so literate. Like, I'm reading
so
historical fiction.
It's basically, it's not, but it's so interesting.
But like, it kind of is.
It kind of is. And I put her in there because I know she wrote Something Borrowed and all those.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't read it, but Katie Bellotti said I would like those too. But I watched Something Borrowed. It's one of my favorite movies, so I would have to, assume I like her.
We need to watch that on our next trip.
We should.
Like, do like a girls
in
movie
Nantucket.
night. Yeah.
On Nantucket. That would be really cute. I also, I'm coming to Dallas.
Yeah, we really do need to
I can't believe I never saw
you
your
in the
last
fall,
place.
Though.
Yeah, whenever like the best time, probably the fall.
Yeah, for
Dallas,
weather.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I just like need to come and like go to Fort Worth and that
It's
bar,
gonna be so
the Dover Hotel. Like I need to go and I need to meet Fitz. I've met Coco obviously. So I just like
it's gonna be such a good.
I need to see your closet room. Like there's a lot to be done.
A lot.
Danny and Dallas.
I love that. Okay, wait. Last question before we do spoiler and then we wrap up.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any unpopular opinions with books?
Oh, I totally do. Wait, just let me look at my books because I definitely would have unpopular opinion. I wish I could see my other books. Do you have an unpopular opinion? Well, I think
I don't like Sally Hepworth's books. I've read like 2 or 3 and I didn't like any of them. But it's weird because it's like Lauren, one of Lauren's favorite authors, and Lauren and I had the same taste in books. I think Claudia really likes Sally Hepworth too, and we normally agree. I'm just not into her.
And what was like one of her examples?
Like the sister keeper, like always like the sister of the wife or something.
Oh, I have one of those written down of my books to read. I actually like don't think I have an unpopular opinion because I can't see all of the books I've read. There was a Colleen Hoover book that everyone, I think it's Reminders of Him. I see that I didn't finish it because I just couldn't get through it.
Wow, that's so surprising to me.
Because everyone was talking about it, and I think, I don't know, maybe
it wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
Books are personal, Danny. They're very personal. It's okay.
I know, because I loved November 9th. I had read that right before. I don't know. Sometimes hers are just so sad and like
Yeah.
I don't remember if that one was sad, but I couldn't get through it clearly.
Yeah.
So that's my one unpopular opinion that I can provide right now.
Thank you. I just needed to like stir the pot, add some drama.
No, I'm here to stir the pot.
Last thing, spoiler for the perfect marriage or it's perfect
It's
couple
the
or
perfect marriage.
Okay.
Hopefully some of you guys have read it so you can join in on the fun.
So I love a good thriller where the wife doesn't kill the husband.
Right.
That's huge for me. It's perfect because most thrillers, the wife kills the husband.
Yeah.
And this book was so good. I got through it. I was flying to New York. I think I read it on the plane. Like, and I was like so obsessed. Dom was flying with me, or we were meeting up, and I was like, this is amazing. And the last 5% of the book, it ends up being what I don't like in the thriller. And I was like, you gotta be kidding. And I also don't like, one of Frida McFadden's book did this too. I don't like when the narrator lies to you. Like,
yeah, it's like, wait, we were buddy.
It's like we told me this whole story, and then all of a sudden it was you. Like, what are you talking about?
You're so right. That's confusing.
I don't like that, and so I didn't like that, and I didn't like that it ended up being a really obvious storyline. But I will say,
you mean killed the
wife ended up? The mistress. So the wife kills anyone. That's when it's annoying.
Yeah. The wife killed the mistress, and the whole time you're like, it must have been like someone, a third party, and then it just was her.
Yeah, and they're like, you gotta be kidding. Like, you could have made this so much better.
But
I thought the book was so good. Like, it would have been a 5-star for me had
that not happened. It was so crazy though, because she was representing him, who they were accusing of killing the mistress, when in reality that's pretty crazy.
No, it was crazy.
And I loved the legal of it all, like all the terms they were using, and that was a really good book too. I feel like I read that pretty quick too.
Not to like call a murderer a badass, but like she kind of was like
how to get away with murder.
Yeah, like she was smart, like she was just cool, and then you realize that like she's actually the murderer, and you're like, oh.
It really is so crazy though. I feel like there were some, I wouldn't say plot holes in this book, but where like I guess she just explained how she killed, but like I'm like, how did that actually happen? Like she was like, it just, some of those things.
And like you're not only a murderer, but you're a liar now because you just lied to me.
Yes.
The whole book.
And like you're being a lawyer for I don't know. There's just a lot there. I'm like, this wouldn't happen in real life. I mean, it probably does. Yeah. But it's just but that's how it has to get you. That's how you get surprised.
It's smart though for her to represent the guy, because she can end up making sure he's gonna be guilty. If she's the lawyer, like she can screw him over.
She totally could. And then like, why would they ever call the lawyer up?
Exactly.
You know? Why would they even think to call
the lawyer?
She's the lawyer.
And a victim in this scenario.
Of course. It's pretty crazy, honestly.
But actually, I feel like it'd be really obvious if someone becomes the lawyer to that person in that setting, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, everyone grieves differently, but like, I feel like then it's like, wait, how are you doing this already? You know what I mean?
True.
So that would be fishy.
Wait. I'm so confused, Kenzie. Because she killed the white, not him.
She kills the mistress.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess she's not a victim in this. You're right. She's not grieving. You're right.
She's a victim in the sense that it was
she found out about the affair.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah, but not like grieving.
But you're right. You're right. Not grieving. I thought you meant, because I thought I was missing something. That's why I brought it up.
I just said that wrong. I was wrong.
But you mean like she would be so upset at her husband still. Why would she want to represent him?
Well, yeah.
We've come full circle.
We have. Okay, this is a great book episode.
Did I do okay?
You did a great job. I'm giving you an A+. Yay!
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to like read more, and then I can come on next year or something.
Yeah, we'll do like a full girls.
I'll have recap. Like 5 more books.
She'll be like, all right, guys, here are
my top 5 that I have. Unpopular opinions, sure. I'm like, I need to read
You're like
more.
Pulling, like, my unpopular opinion.
I really enjoy talking about books, though. It's so fun. It's like book club.
I know, it is really fun. Okay, where can they find you?
At Danielle Carolan on everything, and I have a podcast too with my best friend Brooke, Gals on the Go.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by giving it a nice thumbs up and subscribe for more.